Yeah, message.
I know, they're not.
But she says they're trying to do more stuff. So take her around. So just service and stuff.
Is it, oh, I have to read. This. Name.
Yes. Oh, no, she's going to. She's gonna have a job. She wants to do things at home. They clear her. To switch. Beautiful. They appreciate.
No, we,
Hi, Laura.
it.
My other meeting just ended 10 seconds ago, right on time.
And I'm gonna get up there one of these days. Maybe we'll basically. One day.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes,
Okay, perfect. I'll mute till you need me.
thank you.
Well, at 7 o'clock, we're gonna call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible. Justice for all. Roll call, Gary.
Here.
Mary, absent. Amy, B. Ken's here, Cara,
Here.
Jason. Here. Agenda. Has everyone had a time to review the agenda?
I would like to, I just got this half hour ago, so I apologize, but I'd like to add on J4 under new business. We have the contract that came in from Kerwin Electric that services our Generac generator here at the hall. So I'd like to bring that up and have a discussion on accepting this again.
Said around $250.
215.
Yeah, it's less than what I remember. Okay. So any other additions or subtractions? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Gary's made the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Jason second. This is agenda, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No nays. We have a guest speaker, Diane Ragosi, Executive Director, Senior Services, Van Buren County. How are you?
A little bit, maybe.
Thank you.
So it's been a while since we've been here, and I wanted to
A few stats of how Columbia Township's doing with senior services of Van Buren County. As you know, we have a center here in Grand Junction at the First Reformed Church. Is that
First congregation.
congregational? Thank you. I knew as soon as I said it wrong. And with a lot of your seniors are also attending our South Haven Center as well. So I kind of was interested to see what it was like before COVID and after COVID as far as numbers go. And so 2016 through 2019, we had 63 unduplicated seniors that were attending. And they attended 806 activities. We served 294 meals, and we had 35 care coordination clients. Since we reopened after COVID, that's jumped dramatically. We now have 270 members, and that's at the end of 2025. They've attended 16,789 activities. We've served 5,188 meals, and we have now 135 care coordination clients. So that's during that 3-year, not even quite 3-year span, there was a dramatic growth spurt. I had them do it just today as of right now, and that number has also jumped to 307 township seniors that use our activity centers. So from 270 to 307 just in the last 6-8 months. And 254 attend the South Haven Center. So that tells you a lot of them are going to South Haven for that. So it's not just here that you see. A lot of you probably just see it right here. A lot of your seniors are going to our center in South Haven, and I'm appreciating that. So our care coordination also has jumped from 135 to 191 just in this past year. So that's significant growth as well. So those are your statistics. I just want to show you a few pictures on the back, and then also we have a little emotional support dog, and he's been out at your site a lot. He loves to come out to Grand Junction, send seniors out there. So yeah, that's all the statistics I have for you. We are looking for a board member. I have Julie Cowie here as well. She is on our board, and she's been on part of the nominating committee. And so we've been asking Jason, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I'm just saying we've been asking Jason to possibly be on our board as a representative to this area. So consider that and let us know what you think. Any questions?
No, I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Dan?
Yeah, I'd like to find out why nothing is being done in my neighborhood. Complaints have been made for several years now about some of the neighbors that are living there in travel trailers. One of them in particular that's hauling porta potties in and out every day. Possibly even dumping some of them on their property, because they live right at the end of the road. Also got dogs that keep getting loose and they've attacked neighbors and the neighbor's dogs. I've witnessed it myself, and they still got their dog. And it seems like nothing is getting done with these people. They don't have a well, no electric, or septic. They're living there for the past almost 6 years. Complaints have been made numerous times. Nothing's been done. I'd like to know when something's gonna get done. Because these people, they shouldn't even be back there. They're causing a danger to the neighborhood actually with their animals and hauling porta potties in and out, because that's toxic. I don't care, you can't tell me they're not leakable, because they are. But I'd like to know, is somebody doing favors or what? Because they seem to keep getting out of everything.
I think you're gonna see improvement really soon. You're just gonna have to give us a little time.
That's the thing, I've been waiting for years.
Well, and we understand that. It's on the agenda tonight. We're gonna talk about it. We have some news about it that we'll share then. Anyone else? Hi, Karen.
I'd like to thank our clerk, her deputy, and election inspectors for their work during the August primary. And I don't want to get ahead of you, but I was gonna welcome the deputy. Is that okay to say?
Sure, you're welcome.
And the fact that you guys met with him today. local ordinances are meaningless without consistent enforcement, so we're really looking forward to pushing enforcement. I think at our July meeting, Supervisor Spicer was gonna compare the Granicus and maybe other competing companies for STR enforcement when we get into that. I assume the Vespers letter is just a formality in the state process. We didn't do it Creo. So I just hope that at least the lines of communication remain friendly enough that we'll get some updates through the process from Vesper regarding the Gypsum Peak developments. As it will eventually impact township budget and public services. A garage sale ordinance seems too petty for 99% of the population, but we do have a couple of, maybe I'd call them habitual abusers. For that reason, I think that either the penalty must sharply escalate after 2 offenses, or you tie it to the blight ordinance if you actually want to solve this problem. Since the garage sale permit is free, maybe that could just be handled by calling the township hall and leaving a message like the burn permits are handled. As long as it is recorded for enforcement purposes. I support the courtesy notice in the package to give STR owners time to voluntarily comply. Newsletters have been sent previously that included notification that this matter was under consideration. I generally support the sale of township-owned parcels that are of no use to the public. I do think that the rules of sale should be consistent. And what is the status on the FEMA grant and the Parks grant, if anybody knows that? Thank you.
Any other public comments? Hearing none, we're gonna move on to F. Minutes from our previous meeting, regular board meeting of July 21st. Is there any comments on that?
I read through it, looks like it's appropriate.
Jason, good?
Agreed.
Invoices? Any invoice issues?
My only comment on invoice issues is last month. Somebody asked about a 6-month cost factor for the recycling. We haven't had it 6 months, so we don't have that. Now they just did pick up the recycling container. And there's a couple of places on here where Best Way Disposal did take containers out. Doesn't stipulate exactly which it is, but I think the one for the $1,500 is correct for that disposal of, or replacement of the recycled container. That's what was in the letter originally that they had quoted.
And that's the first time we've done that since we've been doing
That's
this.
the first time, yep.
Payroll, any comments? Are we supposed to be doing the meeting minute approval separately or all together?
All together.
All together?
Mhm.
Banking account balances, any questions on that? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
We got a motion by Jason, could I get a second?
Moved.
Gary? It's a money situation, roll call vote, Jason,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Cara?
Yes.
Ken, yes. Reports. Fire department.
Stand up without taking the chair. July was busy. July was very busy. We had 62 calls. In July, with a total of 15 in a 6-hour period on July 3rd. I'm starting to regain my energy and feng shui back from July, but it's been a slow process.
Um. As it stands now, I've started going back through the, we had a building inspector go to both of our stations, check those out. So I've been reaching out to people about bids for a few, things to get worked on, mainly the roof at 2, and now the heater at 1, even though it's not. Neither of those are completely pertinent compared to, we had 2 contractors that were like, oh, it's not leaking the roof, and then the one heater guy I've gotten so far was like, well, it's August. So one of those deals. So, I have started getting, numbers together for you guys for that. I've got 2 of my 3 bids. We talked a couple months back. I didn't get to really hang out with you guys last month. I was here for 4 minutes of garage sale talk and was right back out the door. So, we had talked about me getting a second set of gear and also, a set of gear for Carter Skuka, our newly, both of our people that went through academy, both passed. Actually, Samara had one of the highest scores on the practical test. So, she did very good. I'm looking forward to that. She's an EMT as well. So coming out the gate running on third. She already had a certified set of gear, so. Carter means thing now. Another thing that I'm running, I did send you guys each a copy of this. I brought some physical. A firefighter from Lawton and I brought back the 9/11 stair climb to Wings Event Center in Kalamazoo. It's 25th anniversary. I am taking donations. They don't go to me. You don't have to do anything. It goes to the National Fallen Firefighters Association every cent. They've been really nice to work with. They actually, Wings Event Center donated an $18,000 time block to us to put this event on. So yeah, 5 hours at Wings Event Center is $18,000. So we got that donated to us. That was nice. They've been really accommodating. We're gonna be doing a blood drive there as well. During that, what event for firefighters would be complete without pancake breakfast? But yeah, no, it was really cool to bring that back to the area. We haven't done that in about 3 or 4 years, I think. That was something else that kind of got beat up by COVID, so. We did it in 2021, but people were still coming back out of their shells for it. So we have, around 100 people so far, which is small in comparison to Grand Rapids or Lambeau. Over in Wisconsin, but, a pretty good show. So I'm excited about that, but just excited about it because I'm one of the people putting it on. So, I will put these back on the table. Ruth also has one posted for me. That's it for me, guys.
Real quickly, unless it's in that material, so maybe I'm jumping ahead, but
What do you got?
the donations would be best received by the department by when? Is there a time frame?
National Firefighter Association takes donations up until the end of the event on 9/11. It is actually on 9/11 from 8 to 12.
Okay,
So, yeah, anytime in that time frame, National Firefighter Association takes donations.
and is there a form to fill out so we know what department it actually comes from, or? I'm not,
If you go to the website,
okay,
you can fill it out like that. If you guys use my code, it goes directly to my page.
okay,
So,
okay.
July 3rd, you said you had a lot of calls that day?
yeah, that was when
How many volunteers did you have available that day?
5.
5 were working all day.
For that 6-hour period, I had, Paulette. So when you have that many events going on, the problem is that 11 of those calls were electrical. If I come to your house, can't do anything about it until the electric's off. I can babysit it. So we kind of had Paulette, she runs the diner here in town. I had her basically just my rabbit. We'd get a new call, I'd send her out, hey, what do you need? Okay, I'll move up, we move back around. We had 2 land before time trees fall on 215. So the chainsaws got a pretty good testing. But yeah, had a tough weekend to have something like that come through. Jeremy came back because they lost power, so everything in their house was gonna go bad, so he came back. He got back around 11 o'clock that night and helped us finish out, him and Kimberly, but.
All your equipment operated properly?
Didn't have any fires, so yeah, driving wise, everything was pretty good. 70 block traffic, great, it's huge. So, but yeah, there was a couple of things I'd never seen before. A big garden in the backyard of somebody's house, power line had fell down on it, well, they did metal fencing all around it to keep any of the animals out, so I was there I kept going back and checking it out, and that was one of our first calls, and it was one of the last places that got fixed that week. So I felt really bad because that was power to 3 or 4 houses, but yeah, I had never seen anything like it. The wood posts were lighting on fire and I can't shoot any water at it, so. Just had to watch it. So yeah, I put out a Facebook post about it. If I leave during a storm, that doesn't make you any less important. It just means that I need to go put eyes on the next emergency, and as consumers gets back to us, we work our way back, so.
Have we thought about having, wire down watchers that we certify just to do that? Senior type people that can go just sit on the down wire? Consumers does that for.
I don't know that
our
I've ever
area.
thought about, but they do usually send out a service person that usually is an office service person. They can't turn anything off, they can just, they
just keep people-
release us,
Yeah,
one of those deals, so. No, I don't think that's ever.
something like that, they got, I mean, they'll never get around to you.
Oh, well, the whole area got
Yeah.
demolished, so yeah, 75 mile.
Not
winds
something to
came.
think about.
Huh, it's not bad idea. Anything else?
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, we have a new deputy sheriff, Jacob. He's here. Gary and I had an opportunity to sit down and talk to him at 1 o'clock today, and we look forward to working to him. We're gonna give him more leadership with the blight, the dangerous buildings, the RVs and campers. And what was the other one?
Dangerous buildings, stuff.
Yeah, dangerous buildings. We're gonna try to speed line what we were trying to do with 4 people to put it on Jacob. And he's really the enforcement part that we need, and he's driving around, he sees something and he's got time, he's gonna stop and take care of it. And that's gonna be quite beneficial to everything. He's well aware of the Saddle Lake issue. He's well aware of Little Bear subdivision also, and dangerous buildings are really something that we should pay more attention to, because they're the ones that could actually really hurt somebody. And I think I'll get a list together for him of what I know out there. And anyone got any questions for him?
Hi, folks. I'm Deputy Fleury. I'm the new deputy for Columbia Township. Deputy Ladd has moved on. He's actually now the Geneva Township deputy. Last month, we had 129 total calls. The Sheriff's Department handled 106 of them. Michigan State Police handled 14 of them, and our Animal Control Unit handled 7 of them. Other than that, I know that blight is a large concern for a lot of you, and I know that there's a lot of blight in Columbia Township. I know that you guys aren't exactly happy with the way it's been handled in the past, and I'm aware of a lot of the complaints that have been made. I'm very aware, back there on Sycamore, I was actually back there about 4 times last month, dealing with different items or issues. I do have to let you know that there are things being done about those dogs. I just can't tell you exactly what, because it's personal information. I haven't been here the last month. I had some personal stuff going on in my family lives, but I'm here, I'm back now, and I had a meeting today with Gary and Ken talking about blight, kind of the way they are thinking it should be handled, and they kind of just gave me some reins, and they're letting me do what I think is right and try and get it handled. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Dan does.
I wasn't just, bringing that issue up about just about blight. It's a matter of fact that they're still living there because they've never even gotten any permits to be there either.
Okay,
And nothing's ever been done about any of it.
okay,
They claim living off the grid. They're not, housing development. You don't think you're living off the grid when you're living in a housing development and you hook to a cable for internet and stuff. That's not living off the grid.
Some of that's coupled with zoning, and our zoning administrator is working on that, even though it seems slow. It's in the process.
Like, my grandmother's faster than that. She's dead. Wow.
Well, government isn't always the quickest, as we all know, unfortunately. But things are being done and I am looking at the issues. And obviously I haven't been here very long, so I haven't been able to touch on any of these issues.
I saw you out there one of the days that you were.
Simple, we have been there. Yes, but I have been there, dealing with other issues at that same property.
Well, we need to be patient. I think he's gonna get a little start here and then it's gonna take off.
Because I think I said being real patient. With my, trying to get something done about it. I'm thinking about the safety of not only myself and my wife, but the neighbors also.
And you mean with the dogs?
Not just with the dogs, but with all of the other stuff, the hauling of the porta potties in now. Larger, waste trucks, pump trucks, all kinds of stuff. Got our roads so tore up that I can't even drive my car.
Yeah, that road is pretty rough back there.
That's it.
I tore the skid plate off the bottom of my squad car driving back there. Anybody else have any questions or statements? Anything they think I should be aware of?
So, welcome to the township deputy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Deputy Flory is gonna be a little bit more proactive, than our other, deputies, which were fine, but, I'm pretty sure that, Deputy Flory understands a little bit more from when we had our meeting today and, he's ready to go. What they say, locked and loaded, so. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
County Road Commissioner. Oh, County Commissioner. Well, there's one below it. Assessor's not here either.
Good evening. So here's the copy of our July activity report.
Thanks, Ken.
Got a couple other things to
Thank you.
add to it. Oh, here, leave one. I get it, just leave one for. Stand. And then,
Trying to figure from what,
where do I got to start now? Jeez.
you're all done.
Yeah. Okay.
You got two.
I'm gonna give this to her. Van Buren County Veteran Stand Down is gonna be, in October. October 9th at, Decatur VFW, starts at 10 and 10 to 2, so you wanna post that? Good, please, appreciate it. Just a couple other things that, we're working on our facilities master plan right now. Nothing's been decided, even though what Wood TV said that everything was done. We had the plan back and we're gonna start. That didn't happen. I think it was, they didn't listen well at when one of the commissioners was given a report at a meeting and they thought it was all done because we got the stuff back from the architects. And we're just looking at, what we want to do. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna have some meetings and some public meetings also. We had a public hearing on our budget for 26-27, 32.9 million. We'll approve that, our next meeting. And we have a new, person starting in, it's gonna work for John Fall, new executive assistant. Some of you might know her, maybe not. Brittany Rathbun, she's from Lawton. Very, very good from what I understand, so we welcome her on board. Other than that, I don't think I've been here since I was in Illinois at the, Ken and I talked about it a little bit when I saw him, but there were 25 commissioners from 23 counties, or 24 counties in the states represented at this meeting. It was a national commissioners organization. They paid for everything. They paid for my mileage and my hotel room. We didn't cost the county anything. But we talked about battery storage was one of the big things, and nuclear. That's one of the reasons they wanted to have me there, because of what's going on at Palisades. There's other places that are planning on opening up closed plants, and one of the plants we toured in Grundy County, the company that owns it, they are reopening up a closed nuclear facility. I forgot what the name, it sounds like a really, really whizzy name, like 3 Mile Island. They're working on opening that back up again. So, then we heard from, doctors and PhD people from Argonne National Labs about a lot of the stuff going on. And these little reactors, the people are really interested in that. We're gonna hopefully start building here soon in South Haven. is getting a lot of attention. And that's gonna be great for our area, I mean, for buildings and such. And one of the doctors that was from Argonne National Labs, he said, it probably won't happen in our lifetime, but these mini reactors, I could see people having those in their backyards for energy. So, it's like, that's what they're thinking of. I don't, like I said, we probably won't see it, but, it's, it's just something that could happen. So that little bitty pill shape that, Ken probably knows more about it and help, but that generates that kind of stuff. It is just amazing. And of course, the big talk with the battery storage and how those are, being put in, and something that I didn't know before, because I know the question we had all the time when you guys are talking about it was the fighting the fires. And Morris is the town that county seat there in Grundy. 4 years ago, they had a fire, and the fire chief shows up, and some guy comes and says, "Wow, that's really a shame about all them batteries burning up in there." So he pulled all his guys off the fire. Some guy didn't have a business, didn't, for whatever reason, he was getting these batteries from someplace and he was storing them. He's going to recycle them. Well, they caught on fire. It took 28 days to put it out, and they finally, what they used was dry cement. They brought in there, just dumped it on there, and they had something going in there checking for hot spots, and it started up again. They pour more of it on there. It took 28 tons to put the fire out eventually, and they had to. I think it was like 8,000 people had to be evacuated from around there for a while, and yeah, it was quite the thing. So they really know a lot about batteries in Grundy County. So they have 3 nuclear plants there, and we went to visit the one, and we couldn't go out to the reactors because it was when it was so hot here a few weeks back. It was 118 degrees out there, so they had a code red that we couldn't go out there because it was a little bit too warm, which was fine with me. I didn't need to go out there in that kind of heat. But anyhow, so on top of this stuff, and had you ever heard anything about the fire truck situation? Did you ever hear from anybody?
We're still waiting on the grant.
But did you hear from the other one that they're talking about was coming up?
No.
Yeah, I'll get back with her again
Okay.
and see where that's at. Because there's another grant that I think it's the same one, but it's being reopened again for possibility of getting fire equipment. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. So any
Some
questions?
years are hanging back because he wants a dump truck.
Yeah,
Cement
yeah.
truck now.
So where do I sign?
35,000 gallons for a Tesla.
Yeah, where do I sign up at? Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commission and assessor not here, unfinished business. We got a notice from Vesper with their intent to file with the state of Michigan for renewable energy project. I have sent a copy of that letter to all the board members, and the update is that our township attorney and I will be contacting them probably tomorrow, trying to set up a meeting for the end of next week. It'll either be Thursday or Friday. We'll give them a time gaps where they can pick what time. So that'll be that. We will see where the project is. They will have to show us where the project is, and we have to let them know we don't have a hero to the township. We have no ordinance for it. And that will be it at that point in time.
Laura, do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add. This is, there was a comment indicating this is probably standard. It is. This is a necessary first step before Vesper applies to the Michigan Public Service Commission. We'll want to talk at future meetings. There are intervenor funds that will be available to the township that Vesper has to provide for the township to intervene and be represented in those proceedings. We are representing a lot of different communities in MPSC proceedings right now. So that'll be an opportunity for the township once that application is filed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any comments? Good. Garage and yard sales. We had a whole bunch of comments at our last meeting. I incorporated the comments and tried to make it more user friendly without cost. Is there any interest in the board to go forward with this?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna need an ordinance to that effect.
Any other comments?
A lot of the villages in the town, in the county, and cities, villages, whatever, have these. Along with other ordinances like noxious weeds and that sort of thing that we don't have either, but. Based on what has happened here in the past, I think it's time that, it's a shame we have to do this, but. In order to have people comply somewhat, I think it's necessary for a township to, take advantage, or at least have this available. So there's some guidance.
Did anyone get with Laura on the case by case basis we were talking about at the last meeting?
What was that?
We were gonna send her pictures of like current problems to see if they can be handled under blight.
Well, I think that was discussed and I think some of that was discussed regarding the signage when they had garage sale or yard sale designated. That's what the purpose of this was. So I don't know.
I don't think we
Laura,
received any specific complaints to look at. If there are some chronic offenders that might fall into blight, we can always look at that.
I think the issue there was that, we didn't have the hours of cleanup. In other words, you gotta have everything put away, because a lot of these places don't put the stuff away that we're having problems with.
Well,
Yeah, I
think, like,
remember what Kara's talking about. I think there were some where we thought maybe the garage sale ordinance was important, but there might be other avenues to deal with certain properties.
Because like I was saying, at the end of the day, blight is blight. It doesn't matter if it's a yard sale or not. I mean, but that was just my comments at the last meeting, so I just thought if anyone followed up with her on.
I agree with that thought process. It's just that then it would have to be handled with our enforcement officer, which could be handled that way.
Well, if I had a yard sale in their yard forever, then they're having a garage sale. If we don't have a limit on it.
Correct.
So we would need a limit before we could get to the point of blight. All they have to do is say they're open. Jason?
Laura, does that seem accurate that we're sort of trapped into doing it like that? Because if we don't have specific criteria of how long a garage sale is, or how soon it needs to be cleaned up, or how many times a year you can do it, that somebody could essentially legally do it perpetually, and then we wouldn't have any recourse?
So you can have the garage sale ordinance and you can put those regulations in place. You can also, and then you could enforce it under that ordinance, right? That they're violating that. Separately, if you have somebody who just has piles of garbage in their yard,
Well, that's different.
then you can treat that as blight. I mean, really, some of it is, and I think that is why we got into the case by case discussion last time. It's a little bit of, you know it when you see it. Speaking in generalities, you can, it's hard to draw a line, but if you look at it, we could say, yeah, I think a court's going to agree that that's blight and not a legitimate garage sale. So I think it's a both and approach. I think you can have the garage sale regulations if that's what the board wants to do. And that may give you another tool, an ability to regulate that. In addition to that, in appropriate cases, we can still rely on the blight ordinance.
At some point in time, isn't that a business, so if they keep it open forever?
Well, I think that's the intention of the garage sale. And I don't know how many people are doing that, legitimately doing garage sales that long. that are not blight. So that then you're falling in a category where it's not going to be blight. It's very well organized and well labeled garage sale that operates all the time. And that's where this kind of ordinance would come into play.
Yeah, and we do have, Laura, as well, we have a litter machinery, if you will, blight ordinance, so some of that stuff would fall under, like you said, garbage and excess building materials and pieces of concrete, automobiles that are dismantled, that sort of thing would fall under that particular ordinance anyway.
Correct. But having, again, well-organized tables of folded clothing in your driveway might be better regulated by a garage sale ordinance.
Correct, correct.
I think for me, I hate the idea of more and more and more and more ordinances. I guess I'm trying to drill down and really understand, is the issue one or two people that keep doing the same thing? And is there a different way to address it? Like, you know, this ordinance talks about how many times you can have a garage sale, how many days consecutively you have a garage sale. And I get that's all trying to frame up what constitutes a garage sale, but, if the issue is blight, isn't there a way to address it by blight rather than try to go, let's throw more regulations in our township about garage sales? I don't know. I don't like that idea.
Well, I can tell you, in Lawrence, there was a particular family on Red Arrow Highway, main drag, that had a yard sale or had stuff out in their yard perpetually, all the time. So they developed a garage sale ordinance, yard sale ordinance. And that had to be enforced, and it was enforced. It's unfortunate
Yeah.
that you have to do that for people if they just don't use some common sense and maybe some thought process for the neighborhood or their neighbors, but some of them just don't.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to really decipher, is if we're really at that point though. Cause like, as a general principle at work, if we have one person who's doing something that we don't like, we'd rather just address it with that person than create a whole policy for the entire company because it's not relevant to the rest of the company. So can anyone speak to, is this a handful of people? Is it one person? Is it happening every month? Like what's the extent of the problem? Are we at the crossroads where we really need an ordinance, or have we not really figured out a different way to handle it? Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand, in one of the cases, the person was contacted and said, it's a garage sale. Yeah, we have no ordinance against a garage sale for how long it can be there, or how many hours, or how many times during the year or a week or whatever. So how are you, and I guess it's the old saying, some people's trash are other people's treasures.
Do you regulate home occupations?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Laura.
I'm so sorry. Do you have an ordinance or a zoning ordinance provision for home occupations?
Yeah,
Yes,
And because I want to pull it up, I'm wondering, to Jason's point, and I think of it to Ken's point about it being commercial, if at some point, if they're really operating a store or a business, if you can approach it as a home occupation that's not complying with the ordinance, or commercial use that's not in compliance with the ordinance.
we have, down at Grand Junction, we have across from the gas station, you have, 3 or 4 tents. And underneath that is, their garage sale items, and it's there all year round.
And if we go talk to them, they just say, we're having a garage sale still?
I haven't, personally talked to them, but, they've been doing that for years. And I think we have one on 51st and Half Street and at 8th Avenue that is open and closed, but they got a canopy with everything under. And then we got the person on 50th Street. I
Laura,
mean, we're not against a garage sale. But my theory of a garage sale is it's only a weekend and maybe a 4th of July and an extra day there. I don't think it's continuous. And I don't think it should be continuous. I mean, they could have them every week. Up to 4. I mean, if 4 weeks in a row, you ought to be able to get rid of whatever you're gonna get rid of. I would think. Maybe the township ought to have a garage sale in the parking lot every once a month in the summertime.
I'm just looking back through this draft, but
I think I did like Karen's comment on the permitting, like, just call. Like, they have to fill all this stuff out. I mean, that seems kind of,
We could pull it out, I told.
yeah, that's fine, but like, that's not what this like says.
You really should have the application to show somebody they got one.
Well, I know they would.
That could
call,
be
and
emailed
then
or
we
on.
can report it.
when you guys get a burn permit call, do you just log it in a book? So you have like a record of everybody that's called for burn permits?
I write it down in a notebook that stays at the station, and I have a digital file that I have, that way if the address comes out, I will call dispatch and go, hey, go ahead and cancel everybody. Or, yeah. I had no idea that was burn.
Oh, shall we table this since we're kind of stuck?
Well, I have one more question for Laura. Is it possible, Laura, to just clearly define what a garage sale is in our township without having to do all the permits and extensive regulations? Just say like, this is what is considered a garage sale. So if somebody says, the officer rolls up and says, hey, this is a blight issue, and they say, no, it's not, it's a garage sale. We can say, well, by definition, this is not a garage sale.
Sure, if
Or
it said,
are we most of the way there on an ordinance at that point?
well, ultimately, how you wanna regulate it's up to you, but yes, you could say, this is what a garage sale is, and garage sales are allowed, but kind of by defining it, you're imposing those restrictions, not necessarily the permit part, but you would say, right, a garage sale is only 3 days, a garage, or whatever number you wanna put there, in defining it, you're creating those parameters or requirements for it without that permitting piece. You could do it that way.
And I can say I just did it that day. I just started that
It
day.
always
I had
comes
no
down.
idea what it was.
But if you have, evidence, photos,
Right.
neighbors complaining for days, then I don't really care what they say. We've got proof.
Yep. What do you guys think about starting there? Just with a definition of what a garage sale is so that we can start using the blight approach rather than an extensive garage
I
sale
don't have an
ordinance.
issue with that, but you should have a time frame on it, otherwise it's gonna be perpetual.
I think it would still be this whole document minus the permitting process.
Right. That's what it's sounding like to me as well. And let's see what else taking out the fee, taking out the permit, you would still have the operating hours.
There'd still have to be follow-up on it to make sure that that was the timeframe.
Yeah, so this is what a garage sale is. Garage sales are permitted. You have to remove your stuff, within 12 hours after the conclusion of the garage sale. This is how many garage sales you can have a year. I have another township with a garage sale ordinance, but I can't remember if they do a permit. I'm pulling it up. Yeah, they do a permit, so that one's not gonna be helpful.
I think the only reason that we were asking about a permit, Laura, was for tracking purposes.
Sure.
So that whoever signed up to do that, or if it's a block garage sale with many families or whatever, just where it's gonna be and how long it's gonna be there. so it can be, tracked, that's all.
Yeah. Either way is lawful, it's just what you want to do. And practically, if you only have a couple properties that are the problem, you might not need a permit system to track them.
Right. We would just start documenting the blight instances, correct?
Well, your complaints or however you want to phrase it, right, or observations of it, because even if it, in that case, if you had that ordinance, you wouldn't have, it wouldn't have to rise to the level of blight. Again, to my example, it could be very well organized tables of color coded clothing, but it still can't be out there for 7 days.
Yeah, we've had issues where somebody called in a complaint about blight and officer goes out and checks it and all it is a lot of toys that are in the yard and children's swing sets and that sort of thing. You take up the whole yard, it's not blight.
It can be a fine line.
Well, how about? I want to resolve the issue for sure. I don't want to like not take action, but could we? Maybe take one more look through this just to make sure that it's stripped of all unnecessary burdens on the public. But it still accomplishes the goal.
Yeah,
And
do you
then
want us to revise it to take out the permit part?
How do you guys feel about the permit part? Do you think it's necessary?
A start date and end date would be nice to know if you went there. I don't know.
There's no cost to it. It's a free permit, application or permit, whatever you want to call it.
All they have to do is call the township and tell their secretary that it's gonna start on this day and end on that day and give a name.
Really, all you need is a start date and an end date and a location.
Yeah, address.
That's all you need.
What if we just put that in there? They call a township hall between 9 and 1 and provide their name, their address, and when they're gonna have it, start date, end date.
I guess if we feel it's necessary, it's hard for me to say.
Well, it's a shame that it has to be, I think, necessary. Just because of actions of some of the people.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
I mean, we're going in the right direction. We took away the idea there's a fee. That was
Right.
a bad idea.
Right.
We added time to
We
it.
don't have to have somebody come in and fill out an application. If all they have to do is call, like when I call for a burn permit, that's nice, it's easy. I just don't want our residents to think like, oh my gosh, I gotta jump through 10,000 hoops to have a garage sale. Cause there are people that do good garage sales.
Oh, yeah, sure. And to your point, people don't wake up in the morning and say, I'm gonna have a garage sale. They plan and they know and they have their items. And then they get rid of, it's not a spontaneous thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm in favor of maybe trying to revise that section just in terms of what the permit looks like and then maybe we take it up next meeting when Mary's back.
What change or which section? Just so I follow.
I think under the permitting, we're trying to say that they just need to call the township
Just that.
office.
Okay. Got it.
Now, that might affect though, section H where it says display of permit.
Mhm.
We have to prominently display a permit at the location of the sale.
We'll take that
Yeah,
out.
that's H,
Does that just come out?
H and I,
Just H.
that's H, that's I.
These still are just permits, so just remove H.
Okay, we should.
C would be the fee, we'll take that out.
Yeah, I'll change the.
That just says free of charge.
Yep.
You will, Laura?
Yep, I'm making note of that. Ken, I'll copy on this. I'll have Leslie from my office who is working on that, make those updates.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll put that on the agenda for next month. No action taken. Cargo shipping containers. We got a text amendment prepared by the township attorney for zoning regulations of cargo shipping containers. This would, if we approve this, it would be approving this to send it to the planning commission for them to hold the public hearings and get the county review. I think at the same time, Tasha said she'd like to add a couple other things since she's doing a text amendment to make her life a little bit easier if we go this way. So basically, this would just be us sending it to the planning commission to take the actions to hold the public hearing and finish the process.
The copy that we have here, the red line copy, is that, Laura, was that sent to you?
I believe that's our red lines that you're looking at.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So, the intent of this action, I think we've primarily talked about people living in storage shipping containers, in an unsafe manner. We've talked about them becoming blight when there's a number of them on the same property, correct? I'm trying to decipher the intent, because as I read this, it looks like we're prohibiting them in all situations, especially in residential districts. And my only question or concern about that would be, are we eliminating the possibility of someone to build a shipping container house? Like if it follows Michigan construction codes, are we gonna allow someone to build a house out of a shipping container? Cause that is a thing.
Right now, we do not allow that in our zoning ordinance to build in the shipping container.
Okay,
So if we were going to do that, we'd have to add the criteria in our zoning ordinance to be able to do that. Right now, we don't have barnuminiums in our shipping container.
does that need to be part of our ordinance if it's allowable by Michigan building
Part of
codes?
what we're looking at over the big review here of what we might wanna add or not add.
Okay,
But right now, it's not in there, so this is kind of going with what we got. We're having shipping containers being put into the front yard, so properties where basically can't even see the house anymore, they're not, this requires them to put them in the backyard, not in the side yard, but out of view.
Maybe people like them in their front yard.
Well, this isn't really affecting the ag district. It's the ag district, we're allowing the shipping containers. We're just not gonna allow it in our residential area. And we do have people living in them.
Are not allowed to be used on any type of residential property. So if you live in the ag district, that's not considered residential property.
This is those.
I know, I'm just saying, like,
Here's your ag.
what's residential property considered? Cause it says that and residential district. I'm just
District
saying.
R1, R2, RO, and RH, that's mobile home.
Right, but is a residential property a property with a house on it anywhere?
But it specifically allows it in industrial and agricultural zone districts. So if you're in ag, you can have one.
And then it's got a lot limit. If you got less than 2 acres, then you can have 2 of them. If you got more than that, I think it's kind of unlimited.
And I know Ken said this at the opening of this, but this is just sending this to the planning commission. They may make changes to it. They'll have a public hearing. It'll come back to the board before approval.
Ken, how do you think this meshes with going through the ordinances? Like, is this, in your mind, is this a two-step process where we're trying to do this to get the blight and unsafe, living in shipping containers under wraps first, and then to consider other items like I don't know, you mentioned barndominiums and things like that. I mean, I know there's a lot of things like that in our ordinance that we're trying to update.
Well, Tasha has a pretty good list of, some things that she thinks is, she needs right away. That's kind of got her hands tied, and so she'd like to do something, and this is probably something that we need to stop bleeding. Because we're seeing a lot of them starting to appear. And if we don't have regulations, they're gonna be non-conforming uses and probably more than we want. I mean, I've seen, shipping containers, one here, they put a roof over it and they got a barn.
There's obviously problems for sure. I just, again, same with the garage.
This only
sales.
addresses the problems to try to capture this so it doesn't get way away from us in the future.
So procedurally, Laura, are we voting to send this to the planning commission and have them take it up? And then it still has to go through public hearing, county planning commission and back to us?
Correct. So you are just initiating the process, basically.
Okay.
Any other comments? Gotta get a motion to send the cargo shipping container text amendment to the planning commission for processing.
So moved.
Gary made the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Jason second. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. We got an A?
Nay.
Nay. RVs being used as dwellings in satellite subdivision. Yeah. We had a nice conversation with our sheriff today about this. It's gonna take a little bit of time to get up to speed, but we're gonna start a new process of enforcing and kind of put it on his shoulders and get rid of a bunch of middlemen. You're good with that?
My only other comment is the sections that were applied here did come from our zoning administrator. The sections that on the form,
Yeah.
she wanted those put in these particular areas. So that was done and sent back to her and she said that's good to use, so.
Yeah, there's something been added since her list is that you can't have an outside generator. In other words, if you have a driving RV, it has to be in the RV. So if you got one sitting on the ground, it doesn't qualify as a violation. I think that's about the only difference that we had. Any other comments on that, questions? Really no action there, just Dan's left, that was really for him. Okay, notification to property owners regarding short-term rentals. We have a letter that was generated and we're gonna send it out. We're probably gonna send it to all the dwellings in the township and we'll probably have to authorize the cost for paying for that activity.
Well, this should be, in my opinion, this should be sent to all, I guess, resident owners. Not parcel owners, because people can have more than one parcel, but they have a residence, then it's gonna cover all their parcels that they have.
When we do the mailing, we can tell the printer to like nix redundant properties, like with people that own multiple properties. So it only go like once. to,
Right,
like, that
Right,
person.
yeah.
You're gonna go to the assessor to get the 401 listing of all the properties with dwellings from her, or do you
Yeah,
have another list?
I talked to Mary about it and she said we can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
She said probably approve up to 2,000, but it's probably less. I think when we do like tax bills, when we do tax bills, it's like 1,600.
Sounds like a motion. Is there any other discussion on that? Can I get a motion to authorize spending up to $2,000 to send out a letter to how do you say that, Gary?
Resident, owners of residence,
How would you say that?
res,
What type of properties would you call that?
Is it all property?
One letter
owners,
to
what's
each-
approved or not?
Yeah.
Multiple property owners,
Yeah, it'd be all property, all parcels.
all parcels for one property owner. Property owner, okay. Why don't you read that back to us?
Oh, Lord. I don't have that last part.
Mail letters to all parcels which include multiple parcels in one letter.
You just say each property owner in the township, and they are gonna own they could own multiple
Right,
properties, so
right.
just say each individual property owner.
I just, yeah, put each property owner.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Jason made a motion, second.
A second.
Carl second. Roll call vote, Jason,
Yes.
Carl.
Yeah.
Ken, yes. Gary.
yes.
And while we're on that topic for I-5, can we hit just a couple other quick items?
Yeah.
The short-term rental. And I think this will probably just be maybe to get it on people's radar or possibly on the next agenda. I just want to make sure that we're continuing to move forward and we don't stop at the notice. I think the notice is important, but I don't think our work's done. So I think, in my opinion, the two things that we need to keep moving on, the first, probably the most important, is going to be enforcement, because as of January 1,
Right,
we're gonna need enforcement one way or another. And I am still a fan of the idea, whether it's Granicus or a different software. I think whichever way we land on this, the township is gonna have to have a reasonably accurate resource to know where potential short-term rentals are located. Whether that's if we're trying to enforce a ban or enforce, a permitted ordinance, permitted use. So, I know we had talked about that at the last meeting of maybe looking at possible options, but I think that's
I
still,
sent you an email probably shortly before this meeting that lists 48 short-term rentals in Columbia.
okay,
I
today, before the meeting.
I did some research for Van Buren County, Columbia Township short-term rentals. And the figure came up with between 50 and 52 that they had information on. And that was, so it's close to what.
I had 48, so we're missing 4.
Okay. That's
but-
great.
But I agree, we need some tracking.
Whatever shape that takes.
Correct.
We always talk about enforcement, and I think that's gonna be a key piece of enforcement is deciding, are we gonna use outside software?
Right,
Or are we gonna figure out if we have the resources to know what those are? So that was one thing I wanted to say. And then the other, at the last meeting, I had just posed the possibility of maybe trying to manage the short-term rental issue through special use permits. I did talk to Tasha, our zoning administrator, about that. just to get her perspective on it, and she made some good points, why that wouldn't be a good idea. One of them being, it puts a huge burden on the planning commission to have to, process special use permits, you know, potentially 50, 60 of them. That would be a big deal. And she also mentioned that there's a township, I believe it's Fenville, that was trying to regulate STRs through special use permits, and they did it for a little while and they decided it was not working well, and they're rescinding that. So that was just kind of a spitball suggestion I had made, but I think I'm recanting that and leaning more toward a standalone ordinance, which is one of the things that Tasha thinks in her experience and what she's seen other townships do would be the best way to go about it. We would still need to amend our zoning ordinance to say where they're permitted, but we could create a standalone ordinance that would allow a permitting process, and it could be very, very specific. So, Gary, I know you went and visited Casco Township as one of the ones you talked to.
Correct.
And Tasha was saying that they've had 4 or 5 seasons now under their belt of their standalone ordinance. And so I printed that out. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at that yet, but it's at least worth a read to see what it could possibly look like, because they're using an active annual permitting process.
Right.
And you might be able to speak to that, Gary, having talked to them.
Well, they
But-
gave, I can't remember the lady's name, but she gave both Kate and myself copies of what they did.
Maybe that's for follow-up at the next.
J1, I have been getting a number of calls on purchasing property from the township. We have a policy that if we have a lot that is not buildable, that we would contact the neighboring parcel owners and let them provide a bid on it if they're interested. These properties that they're asking for are buildable lots. And we don't have a policy for that. And I don't, to do it right, I think we probably ought to have a realtor if we're gonna sell them. That's if we're gonna sell them. To handle these. I don't think we should try to handle something like this, because we have to get probably the best fair market value, and the only way we're gonna reach enough people is by putting it on the market.
Well, I agree. We have the process and we should follow the process. According to what I'm reading here, A is buildable currently because of the square footage.
J1 is a buildable lot. There are actually there's 4 lots total there and basically 2 titles.
So according to your map here, there's A and B, correct?
Yes, A and B.
Okay, and both of them individually are buildable lots?
If you combine them together, you got a buildable.
Okay, so individually, they're not buildable.
No.
Okay, that, I just wanted to get that
But
clear in
if
my
you
head.
take one away from it, then you won't have a buildable lot.
That, exactly right,
That
exactly.
would be the bad thing.
That's right, exactly. So I think what we need to do is follow the process and contact, people that own properties on both sides of those and see if they're interested in it. And
Our process doesn't allow us to do that. There had to be a non-buildable lot to do that.
well, if A is non-buildable and B is non-buildable, unless you combine them, they are non-buildable.
Right.
Well, I think we ought to combine them. We could get more money for it.
Okay.
I mean, you're only gonna get probably $400 a lot if you separate them, because they're non-buildable. Then they'd go to the neighboring property owners.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. our process was if the lot is not buildable and there is an adjacent lot that somebody owns, we would contact them first to see if they were interested in putting a bid in on the property. Now,
Our policy, I don't believe was that way. I had to look and find the parcels that cannot be made buildable. If I could combine 4 lots, I couldn't run it through the process of selling it to the neighbor lots. Like, we have, Charlie Dotson, we got like 6 lots there. We didn't put that on the bid, due to the fact that you can have a buildable lot. Then we had that, gentleman from Poland that gave us all that land, and he had 4 lot section here, 4 lot section there. We didn't put them on, because if you combine them together, you have a buildable lot. We looked for the lots that were not buildable, which were less than 12,000 square feet. If they're less than 12,000 square feet, the lot, and you couldn't combine it with another lot to make 12,000 square feet, then we sold those to the neighboring property owners. Because you're not gonna get any value out of them. That make sense?
well, yeah, it makes sense, but unless I'm missing something here, lot A as an individual is not buildable.
A and B is.
Okay,
We own both of them.
I understand that.
Okay.
So you're just saying he offered to buy B, which would essentially lock out anyone else from buying A.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to be smart and surround his property, but you're saying we should consider saying no to the offer and combine them and sell them that way.
Correct.
Okay,
Well, I don't think the intent was for the township to go ahead and sell them without properly getting the best value they can by our
Having the
process.
assessor,
Neighbor,
right,
this process would be a realtor.
which makes
Right,
this one
okay.
unbuildable. So.
I understand that logic and I agree with it.
We would have to sell it to.
It's just that I'm a little torn.
Him for $100.
By the drawing,
By what?
I shouldn't have given you the drawing.
Why?
Pretty smart.
It is.
I understand by combining and we township owns both of these. Individually, they're not buildable. If we sell one just for a power line access, the other one's not buildable.
Yeah. But if you sell them both, you get more money and
Right.
I'm
And
not
that would be the
familiar
way
with
to
these
do it.
parcels. Are they, if they were combined, are they marketable? Are they valuable?
Then they're buildable. Yeah, as a
Right,
combination.
but like, I don't know where this is exactly. I can't
we,
tell from this.
we have people out there that are buying our lots that don't live here that will buy this lot. And then they'll call the neighbor over here that lives somewhere and just pay taxes for all the years. They'll buy these 2 lots, put it with that 1 lot, and then they put it on Craigslist for 7,000. And then they sell it for somewhere between 5 and 7. I think Lonnie Johnson just sold 5 lots for $9,000.
Well, it sounds like it's not in our best interest to sell this lot individually,
No, it's not.
so I make a motion that we deny the offer.
Any other discussion?
I second it. There's no reason to. No,
Okay, we got a motion on J1 not to sell 1 parcel by Jason, and Gary has seconded it. I guess we could say all in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. Number 2 is a 2-acre parcel that is on 51st and a half street. It's down by Baseline. A lady is in the process of trying to buy the lot to the south of it. And she'd really like to buy this lot to have a septic system on the lot that she's purchasing. I went to the assessor with this because it's 2 acres and I was asking her about what the minimum bid price would be or what the value of it was. And she gave me a pretty large window to look at, but 14,400 was on the low end. And she said up to $27,000 for that lot. That lot is 80 foot by about 1,000. It's a non-conforming lot. It does have the 12,000 square feet. It doesn't have the road frontage that's required by our zoning ordinance, which is what makes it non-conforming, but it is buildable. And if we were going to sell that, I think we would have to put that with a realtor. I don't think I could sell that based on its size and our policy.
Well, Sarah, or Mrs. Farley already bought the property from Brian, I can't remember his name, anyway. This has been an issue on this property with squatters for a number of years. Took us 3 years to get the people off of there that were squatting. And so she built this, she wants to put a modular in there and she needs this other strip for her septic system. I went out there and looked at it. Where the neighbors say the rentals, the neighbors say their lot line is, they're mistaken, because if you get a Google lot line search, you'll see where they are. An RV has to be moved off of that property in order for Mrs. Farley to build this other property or to buy it. So I think since the realtor was involved in the first transaction, I think that it should be involved with the second transaction. And I think that my personal view is this poor lady's been working on this and she had to get out of her, she either sold her other place or had to move for some reason, and that's why she needs to have this done relatively soon. So I would put a little lower end value on it, contact her and or let the realtor put a value on it based on like property.
Well, there's another issue with this, the deed. The deed has on it that, basically the DNR would, if we went to sell it, they said it had to be for public use. If we sell it, the profit that we get on it would have to go to them. And I talked to Laura about this, and she said that we would put it in an escrow for a year. Correct, Laura?
Yep, Scott Hogan from my office is who advised on that. He's worked on several of these. And I don't know how much of that legal opinion I want to go into an open session if we don't have to.
We don't have to.
Okay. But you can provide his email to the board.
Yep.
So if I'm looking at this map, Sarah Farley's purchasing this lot from
Correct.
Walter Clare,
Yeah.
but needs this additional lot from us for, did you say septic?
Septic is what she said,
Correct.
yes.
She can't fit septic on this?
I don't know why not,
Well,
but
it's because of the terrain. It's because of the topographical,
Oh,
yeah, you can't see that, but
There's
there's
a
a big
low-
hill there.
there's a low area in there that
Yeah.
that you can't put septic in.
do we think there would be any other use for that parcel? It's such a weird shape. I don't see where anybody else would want it for anything else. Do you?
2 acres, realtors,
Yeah, but what's the width on it?
80
50
feet.
80
That's
feet.
80 feet?
I got a 60 foot where my cottage is on and I got plenty of room.
I can tell you that the neighbors would really like to have this sold to somebody.
Why?
Squatters.
Oh,
Took me 2 years to get the people off of that were squatting on it before.
What would you like to do with it? Want to put it with a realtor to list it?
I think that would be the fair thing to do. Not only for the township, but also for, Miss Farley that wants to buy it.
Yeah.
That way she would know what would be a relatively, fair price.
Was that a motion, Gary? Motion to
Motion, yeah.
place parcel ID 8006-003-012-20
Correct.
with a realtor to sell. Mary's not eligible to do that, Laura, right? We lose Laura?
Yeah, I would not have the township, no, township board member cannot be listing it.
No, that'd be a conflict.
Yeah.
Correct.
in a
Okay.
situation like this, if it goes to the realtor, do we give Sarah Farley first right of refusal, or is it just, we're saying, sorry, we're putting this on the open market?
Yeah,
You should endeavor to
Well,
get the best price that you can.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, we have to. Gary's made a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Jason, we selling our property, we better get a roll call. Gary,
yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Tara,
Yes.
Ken is a yes. The J3, our last item on our agenda.
J4 was added.
Oh, we got a generator.
Kerwin generator.
Thank you, Gary. I have that with the rest of my.
They sent a contract out and they do every year.
But we gotta do J3 first, Gary.
I thought,
We need to do J3 first.
I'm
A draft
sorry.
5-year Parks Recreation Plan, the process, proposed improvements and financial impact. We need to discuss the development and the status of the 5-year Parks and Recreational Plan, including the proposed September 9th, 2026 public hearing. Proposed capital improvements and fund resources, the township's matching fund requirement and anticipated operational maintenance cost in the future.
Do we know the disposition of, there was a grant that was applied for this?
There's a grant that they're working on, but it sounds like we have to put up township money to get the grant. And then we'd have to have some sort of commitment to, do maintenance and operational
Sure.
repair. And Gary, a while back, you went and told me when we were gonna do this, you went and told me how you're gonna cover the cost of taking care of the bathroom. And that cost is gonna be drastic, and I think.
Yes, it is.
You got me, so I'm not interested in having those costs, since we can't buy a fire truck or pave the parking lot or.
Well, the other issues that you're gonna have that are unforeseen unless you've worked that area is you're gonna have, homeless people staying in there. Somebody's gonna have to lock them up in the evening, unlock them in the morning. I'll tell you, somebody's gonna have to clean them. There's gonna be graffiti you're gonna have to take off of them. Why people do that, I have no clue. If I knew, I'd probably be a millionaire.
She has in the, well, they have in the draft 5-year park plan. 2026 to 2027, the township would pay 5,000, 27 to 28 would be 25,000, 28 to 29, 50, 29 to 30, 50,000, and 30 to 31, 25,000. That's a proposed general fund annual budget to develop the park under the 5-year plan. Seasonal maintenance is funded through the general fund.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's 50,000 a year. That's half a mil.
Yeah.
It looks like the cost share is 25% from the township for phase 3 and phase 4.
Wasn't this whole initiative kind of started and picked up because of um, something in the master plan about people wanting a park?
Well, wanting a park and paying for a park is.
I think in the surveys, past surveys, there was very little, hardly any mentioned about a park. The hot buttons were more eating establishments,
Blight,
and blight.
a lot of blight.
Those were the two main things and, that came out of the survey that I saw anyway.
Yeah.
Now, again, the survey, I think, was only like 200 responses or something, and now obviously that's not the whole township. But it's all the responses we got.
Though they did say we want to remain a rural farming community, quiet, peaceful.
Right.
But we don't, so she's partway through her public comment period, I think. Right? Doesn't it end at the end of this month? Isn't there a 30-day survey, public comment period on the
Right.
website? So we're not even through that yet.
Correct.
And then I think the only decision we really would need to make tonight, wouldn't it be that we authorize spending for a public hearing on this? Cause I think that would be the next step, wouldn't it?
Yeah. well,
Like a notice for a public hearing, cause I mean, I guess I don't feel like their process has worked its way all the way to the end, like we would potentially get feedback from people at a public hearing.
Did we put money in the budget for recreation? I think she asked for it. I don't know if we ever approved it.
We did put 5 in this year, I think.
We
I
did.
think you're right.
5,000. And I think the cost share thing, you know, let's not lose sight of if we get the grant, there's cost sharing, yes, but it's like, do you want to spend 10,000 to get 50,000? That's a pretty good deal. If a park is something our township wants, of course, but I mean, I think even on the FEMA grant that we're going for the fire truck, there's cost sharing. So that's a normal thing.
Typically on any
You might
grant,
get a grant, but you gotta pay part of it.
typically the grants run anywhere, with cost sharing is anywhere from 5% to typically 20-25%.
Right. Right.
When I first got in office, I fixed up the baseball field. And I kept it a couple of years, but nobody was using it. Guys would come out there and be golfing from, where about the gazebo is and shooting them out into the cemetery, but, I never saw anyone take use of the ball field, which really surprised me.
I've seen people play soccer out there lately, but that's all I've seen. And dogs.
And you know, I used to see kids downtown playing basketball in the street. They had a portable basketball court. They put it up and they'd play in the street down there, and I don't see them doing that anymore like they were all the time at one time.
We used to have a team from South Haven that wanted to come over and play with our field.
Sure.
And, they did maybe once. And then they stopped.
They found another location
Right,
closer to South Haven.
right.
Yeah. Well, I don't want us as a township to spend money unwisely, but at the same time, I think we also have a little bit of a history of like shutting a lot of things down in our township. And if there's people that want parks and it's part of our master plan, then I think we should let the process play out and see. I don't know where she got those costs, like 50,000 a year. I don't know what that entails. Doesn't seem like it costs that much.
Matching fund is one of
I think it
them,
was the
100,000
25.
matching fund.
It was the 25% cost share. It was in those years, yeah.
So
So,
it's a requirement of the grant.
Yeah,
Mhm.
This would come out of the general fund and would, I mean, we just don't. We don't have the money.
there's other neighboring townships that are doing parks and everything,
I
but
think they
it's,
got some outside financial support.
well, that's what I mean, like,
There's some community person
is there research being done to asking those people what they're doing?
yeah, Pullman is really,
I think Kate had a pretty robust committee that met several times and they were pretty engaged. I don't know what all homework they did, but I feel like they've done a lot of work on this.
Well, the
So
other-
I would be at least. in
you know,
favor of-
they kind of did it in secret because they didn't bring anything to the board in the beginning to tell us where they're going, where they're coming and what they're gonna need from us as they go along. Same thing on the planning commission side. We were getting a report of that they had a meeting and everything's going well, but we really weren't involved in any input.
Now, I
And
know,
no input here. So we saw the plan, what was it, last week? Was it last week we got the plan or a week before?
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks ago.
somebody mentioned Pullman, you know. Their demographics are totally different than ours. It's apples and oranges. They have a business district, they have a school system, they have a bank, yeah, you know, they have grocery stores, they have gas stations,
Pizza place?
yeah. Yeah. So it's like comparing apples to oranges. It's just,
Well,
but anyway, I don't have a problem with letting it play out and waiting till all the information is in and then make a judgment call.
well, let's not forget, there's no guarantees here, obviously, but we do know that Vesper is proceeding with their
That's right.
thing, so.
That's right.
Presumably, a couple years down the road, there'll be some potential tax revenue,
That's right.
so. I guess I'm in favor of at least letting the public hearing play out and let them finish the process and come to us with a recommendation, cause I don't think.
What's it gonna cost to publish that card? $750?
No, well, I did the election notices and it was like $200. So I'd say maybe $500, but what has to be published? It's just the notice?
Well, I don't think it's tied to the planning commission for a public hearing. I don't know if the public hearing can be on the website and post it on our door, put one down at the post office. So I don't think township board is not sponsoring this. The planning commission is not sponsoring this.
I think Kate's intentions were to have it at the planning commission meeting September 9th. That's what her notice read as.
That's just to hold the public hearing.
Right. And she said it, we need to mail properties within.
I mean, she might probably
300
tie in
feet.
the public hearing to when she's here at the planning commission.
That's what I'm saying.
The PC has a line item budget for notices, don't they? Like,
The PC does, but like, I haven't seen it in the PC besides a report.
Her notice says the planning commission is holding a public hearing on Wednesday, September 9th at 6 p.m.
Go to our planning commission meeting minutes. Did we approve that?
Karen, did you say it's at 6?
6 at the regular meeting.
Had been at the August meeting. The 12th.
Did you guys discuss it?
Not that I remember. Just got a report, right?
It just says updates from Parks Committee.
Public hearing is to be scheduled possibly Wednesday, September 9th.
Yeah, this is her report in July.
Shall I report?
But it wasn't like an action item or anything. I guess the question is like the process being followed correctly? Like, is it ready for a public hearing or does the PC have to do
Look,
something?
look at build meeting minutes to see if they've already built something in there. Jay's pretty good at doing that right during the meeting.
Yeah, it's all in there.
That's us, isn't it? So. I don't know. Oh, we could approve to have the meeting, I guess. I would take it out of the recreation funds.
On her report that she sent in here,
What's that?
on her report. Says the Parks Committee reported that the draft 26 to 31 5-year park plan is out for public comment and will proceed to a September 9th hearing before board consideration.
Who did the Parks Committee report that to?
It looks like there was a Parks Committee report in the Planning Commission packet for August 12th. But did you guys not read it or did?
Well, normally if you're going to approve something, you'd have a motion and a second and you approve holding a public hearing on such and such date. I mean, that would be the process we would have to do here. I would think that would be the process they do. But like I said, they got money in the recreational, we oughta.
There's some money in recreation facilities or recreation maintenance, or there's also Planning Commission, printing and publishing.
It should be $5,000 in the recreation,
Yes,
and that was gonna be for whatever she needed to do.
it looks to me like it was intended to be toward physical things at the recreation, whereas the printing and publishing sounds more accurate for printing and publishing.
Yeah.
I think when we were talking about it at the budget, we put her $5,000 there for her to work on this thing. That's what I remember. We had no other place to put it.
Yeah, I'm confused why we're acting surprised about this. I mean, we budgeted money for it. Kate volunteered to create a parks subcommittee, and she's just been doing what she thought we asked her to do. So I don't know why we're surprised by this.
Well, it has to be formally done. I mean, you gotta, if you're saying the planning commission is holding the meeting, I would think the planning commission would have a motion and second.
Well, it wasn't the planning. I mean, she's been noticing all these committee meetings. I've seen tons of information go out about these parks thing.
Do you have to put in a PO to buy anything?
Anything over $500.
Yeah, anything over $100, you turn a PO in, and we got a PO? trying to do things right.
Well, my only question is not about the money or anything, is if it was done correctly on the PC side, like. Do they have to approve a public hearing before it's scheduled and done? Or can they just have a public hearing? That's my only question. So I'm fine with the public hearing. I just wanna know if it's done correctly.
We
Well, I'm
are,
saying
do you want me to jump in?
Yeah.
Please.
Yes, okay. I hadn't yet, just because I haven't seen this or worked on this, so I'm just picking this up as we're going here, but assuming that we're talking about the requirements for a recreation plan for DNR grant purposes, that's what we're talking. We're not talking about a master plan, right? We're just doing the recreation plan. So there's not really a statute that dictates this other than the Open Meetings Act generally. And the DNR's requirements just talk about, 30 days of public comment and then notice of the public hearing. So it's not really, it's not really as strict as, for example, a zoning ordinance amendment or a master plan review. So I'm not sure what the planning commission would have needed to do prior to that, as long as there was this opportunity for residents, a well-publicized opportunity for residents to review and comment on the plan before it's adopted.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we wanna approve publishing the notice for the September 9th hearing not to exceed?
Well, normally our publications are about $750, if I remember
I
Say-
said 800,
right. 800?
4,000.
Whatever you think the number usually is, Kara, that's.
Do you have a copy of the notice?
Oh, yeah.
You gonna get that out this week for the following week's paper? Right, Wednesday, it'd have to be out.
Well, that's the other problem. The deadline, I think, to give them it for Thursday publication was yesterday. So it would be published next Thursday, which I think would be 14 days.
So they'd have it 2 weeks prior to the meeting.
Yeah.
Be in the paper. Yeah, we could put it on the website, we can get it on
Yeah.
Grand Junction now or something.
Yeah.
Should we post it at the post office?
I can.
Probably wouldn't hurt. Give me a copy, I'll get one at the post office, I'll put one down at Family Fair.
So has it been publicized at all yet? Has public input been solicited?
For the 30-day review period, yes, that started
Okay.
August 1st.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we had that 30 days before the hearing.
Yeah.
But that notification, how did that go out for the 30 days? I don't know if Laura knows that or.
It was posted on our website. And the fourth.
Yeah, I saw.
It was on the website, it was also on the Grand
Yeah.
Junction now.
And the DNR's guidance says that notification can be accomplished by a variety of means, including methods typically used to make announcements by the governing body, such as on the municipal website. So I think that would be sufficient to the DNR.
Hope that's not my house on fire.
Oh.
Do we have a motion on the table then, or are we still?
I thought she had a motion, I think she added $800 to it.
Okay,
She'll read it back to us.
Motion to approve publishing notice for September 9th, 2026, public hearing for the draft 5-year park plan not to exceed $800.
like it.
That's the motion, I got someone wants to make that a motion.
I thought I did.
Jason's gonna make the motion, second. So moved. Gary, this is money, roll call. Jason?
Yep.
Gary?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Car?
Sure.
Huh?
Sure, yes.
Yeah. Gary, generator?
Yeah, Kerwin Electric out of, Kalamazoo service our unit last year, also services mine because I called around to find out who had the least expensive contract. And they happened to be the one that did. There's anywhere from $30 to $50 cheaper than any place close by out of Kalamazoo or Holland area. So they have sent out another contract for this coming year. And they're gonna start in September. It's $215 for a typical service. If there's an emergency, it would be a $240 service fee. But they changed the oil, and the filter, they dispose of the oil in the filter, they check the air filters, they check the spark plugs in the battery charger, they test run the generator. So they do a good job, and I've been happy with them on my personal one, and I think they did a really good job on the one here. I did call them when the light was yellow on our generator here, and they came right out and fixed it. And it was just an old battery. Battery needed to be changed. So I would recommend that this has to be sent in by the end of August, signed by the supervisor. So I would recommend that, the board okay this, year contract with Kerwin Electric for the $215.
You're making a motion to contract with,
Kerwin Electric,
you got that?
Yeah.
KERWIN Electric, for our Generac generator, standby generator.
Second.
Hold on, she's rewriting it. Motion to renew maintenance contract for a generator not to exceed $215. You can put the name of the Kerwin maintenance. Right, okay, good. Not to exceed 250. Can I get a motion? Gary, right?
I did.
Gary made the motion. Jason,
Second.
second. Gary,
Yes.
Jason?
Yep.
Kara? Ken, yes. I pass. Anything else up here? We covered everything? Public comment?
And 07559 Silver Lake Road. As you move forward with this letter that I'm just saying for the first time. That's gonna cost the township $2,000 to send out. And it's threatening fines, legal action, violations to short-term rental owners. I would probably just encourage that you also add something on there, verbiage that includes that you're working toward action for short-term rentals to comply with an ordinance. In order to prevent the township from also getting legal action toward itself. I just fear the inevitable trigger that this letter will result in legal action toward the township. So, maybe some verbiage that residents and owners will work toward an agreeable standalone ordinance, allowing for the process of responsible owners to continue the rental process. Something along those words would sound nice. Compared to all of the full-time issues that I've heard throughout this meeting, including loose dogs and shipping containers in people's backyards and sewage spilling on the streets, having friendly, compliant, short-term rental owners as a neighbor actually seems quite useful. And probably what I would want as a neighbor, as opposed to some of the things that I've heard in this meeting. So, having a more predictable neighbor that has a nice yard and is quiet
might be our best bet, and to welcome those people to our community as the ones that it sounds like we're fighting against. Thank you.
Good.
Melissa Whitman, 0884 Silver Lake Road. I was driving home this weekend here and saw good food, a little restaurant in Grand Junction, packed on a Sunday. I don't think that'll happen if these get banned and you guys put us all on hold. There's a lot of people up here that are here visiting that frequent that place and every other place all around us. I was encouraged tonight to hear Jason talk about doing some research with an ordinance versus the short-term special permit. That's great. It seems like he's the one invested in working on this for us. But in a whole month, I was here a month ago, all that's been done is this letter, 4 paragraphs. Nothing else to benefit us at all. It doesn't seem like anything's been done to start to create this ordinance. We'd all like to hear what you have to say. But if you don't have anything to say, we can't work on our end of the business. Anything else been done? We'd all like to be a part of it. No one's reached out to any of us. There's a lot of us that would love to be part of this process, help create some of the rules and regulations, guidelines. Each place is unique. My place is different than your place, and it's different than Janice. We would all like to be included in this, and no one's reached out, and we'd like to be reached out to. It's already almost September. This takes place in December. I'd like to continue my work and having people come to my place next year. But if this is all that's been done in a month, how long is this gonna take? So please include us. I can't come every Tuesday night. In fact, I'm gonna go through Catholic confirmation. It's gonna take me out on Tuesday, so I can't represent myself come September. So I'd really like some work on this. Thank you. I appreciate any input any of you have.
Sharon?
On that topic, it just looks to me like the last paragraph does actually address the fact that work is continuing. On a different topic, it looks like on the calendar, apparently there's a ZBA meeting on August 24 coming up. And as far as I know, that panel includes Dave Marcelletti, Lee Abernathy, and Chuck Aubrey. Is that correct and current?
I think Dixie is going to be there instead of Aubrey.
He's an alternate.
Yeah.
And then it looks like the Board of Review is gonna meet on August 25th. And as far as I know, is that Peter Stanislawski, Lee Abernathy, and Dixie?
I don't believe that's true. I think that was a holding point that I put in there for the July one, and I will get that out of there.
Okay, so that's, okay, thank you.
We were having, two different, agendas going on, so I put one out later so that we can compare the two when I was talking with the assessor on what's on the agenda before she took off.
Just one.
Anything else? Board members, anything?
Hey Laura, were you able to hear the public comment about the notice?
Correct, I did.
Would you be able to maybe follow up with us on that thought or recommendation? I know you drafted that letter, and there's obviously lots of legal considerations for how we communicate, so I don't know if you wanna chew on that and get back to us on that note.
Yeah, my reaction was sort of the same. I think it was Karen's public comment that was sort of the intention of that last part of it, that this is still an ongoing conversation, but there's no way the township can commit to there being an amendment or approvals in the future. It says the township continues to evaluate potential future zoning amendments related to STRs. However, no ordinance amendments have been adopted and no future approvals or permitting options are guaranteed. That's sort of the fact of the matter. And I don't want to give a false impression that people don't need to take this seriously, because I think they do need to take it seriously.
Agreed. do you think there would be any value in including the language of the motion? Because I think it was a three-part motion and maybe the third part would, somewhat address that potentially, or is it better to leave that out?
You're gonna have to remind me what the motion language was. Is it in the minutes from, you mean from the last meeting?
Yes, it's in the
Okay.
minutes from.
Let me get to the minutes.
It's under, I1.
All right, I1. You certainly can include that that was what the motion was. I'm not sure that conveys anything beyond what the notice does.
Okay, thanks. I would just say, thanks for your continued participation in our meetings. All I can say is this is a super complex issue. I mean, if you follow what other townships are doing, they'll go 6 steps ahead and then hit a roadblock, some sort of legal roadblock, and then they'll have to go back 3 steps. And I think we're just trying to be careful. I understand that it's a timely issue and we've been thinking about it for a while, but I guess I'm just asking for continued patience because we're really trying to work it out as best as possible for the whole township, so. That's it for me.
You think, Cara?
With Jason on all that, I have been contacting different companies and I also contacted Western, to start our new updated master plan. So I'm still in contact with them. Western sounded like they'd have a class that would be, interested and willing to do it.
Here.
Ditto on what, Jason said, and appreciate your inputs and thoughts. We take them all into consideration. I think that, also I wanted to thank, the board about the upcoming, transfer station. I guess it's called an event for September 22nd, an educational event that the Conservation District's putting on for the public from 9 to 12. And I thank Kara for putting that on the website.
I haven't yet, but I will tomorrow.
And no, you will.
Yeah, I will.
Thanks in advance.
Just for a notice, but appreciate the input for the board this evening. I know it's a lot of touchy situations. And we're trying to do the best we can for everybody. Thanks. Done.
I agree with Gary. We do listen. We hear you. We hear the other side also. And Gary and I get involved when we have problems out there that we would have to show up and talk to runners about stuff. We probably had a busy last 2 months, especially with the holidays. And there is an issue. It may not be with you, but there is an issue out there. And we'd like to resolve it. And it might be total number of people that we're seeing when we go out. That you might be crowding your unit and the lake. And but if you go down my fire lane right now, there's a lot of garbage sitting out that's been out there since the weekend that is overflowing and on the ground and being spread around by raccoons, and there are issues, and those are pretty obvious, but there's gotta be some common ground. I'm not sure we've come to a conclusion what that is, but we're looking at it all the time. You may not know that, but we work at it all the time. So that, 9 o'clock. Well, 9:02. She's already adjourned the meeting for us.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Bye, Laura.